3 days. Um, and I was like feeling kind of almost nervous to start this thing. It's been so long. so, um, what is this? What the fuck is this? I never noticed these little. What is this? They're telling me things on here? I don't know. Oh, hi. I missed streaming. Do I know you, by the way? No, probably not. Just kidding. Because you're Pisces. I know. I was gonna stream last night, but Tyler Durden and I decided to have a throwing match instead. So like, just didn't make it. And then today went to a baseball game for free. And yeah, yeah, I love that. Literally, I've been sitting here getting ready to stream. Like, I was ready an hour ago. That's what I mean. Like, I sat down like probably an hour ago. So when you say manifested, you probably are literally the reason I started the very moment that I started. Yeah. It was like I sensed someone was lurking, so I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna roll this ad and then we're gonna get into it. A lot. We're gonna get into a lot. You can see this is the chat setup that I have, not necessarily the tarot. Um, I'm telling the story of like, nah, I guess how I became a necromancer tonight, sort of, like something, something like that. I've been thinking about it all week. Been researching. Been, recounting, recalling, and it's a lot. So let's roll this ad and BRB. BRB. What was that? BR. Y'all, I went to a free baseball game. Oh, I like this one tonight. I did this one so I could have my trigger warning. What the fuck? You can't join? Dude, are you a child? Be honest, are you under the age of 21? Is that why you can't fucking join? Oh my god. You're not even supposed to be on my Twitch. Okay, sorry. That's like the only thing. And if you have maybe like a sensitive content setting, I always set all my shit to mature. So it could be something like that. What does that mean? What nobody has explained the exclamation points to me. I am also excited about Discord. What is that? I ask every time and no one ever gives me an answer. Is it a command thing? I do not have my command set up. I did not learn anything about extensions. I was gonna have a chat with a friend and he's like, bro, I can't do this today. And I was like, that's fine. I don't give that much of a fuck. I'm trying to learn more about Twitch and I just read and I'm like, what? I'm not a streamer. I'm a tarot reader on stream. I'm a stream of consciousness. How do I use technology? Yeah, I'll put it on my. It's new, and I just say that so then on my days off, I put announcements in there, and then I can also talk to you guys. Let me just. Da, 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 ba-da-dum, bum. We demand access. I don't have it anywhere. I've had it for a week. I have barely used it. I'm like I said, I'm getting used to all of this stuff. This stuff. Dude, look at my. I look like an old lady. It's because low key, I have two pairs of blue light blocking glasses. These ones and the silver ones that used to have the bubble pieces. But these aren't prescription, and the other ones are. So whenever I'm in these, I feel like I'm like this all the time. But I was wearing gold, yellow, and, red. I do not have any type of... Yeah, you came up with it. What do you mean you love that? Of course you do. I told you I was going to use it for something. And that's what I chose to do it for. I was like, what do I name my Discord? Like, fuck it. It's so funny too because I feel like I was talking to some Gemini chick a couple years whenever I switched over to Illuminati Mystics because I was like some corny tarot names before that. And I said something about this story and was like, I don't know, so I turned into some kind of Illuminati mystic. And she's like, that should be your new tarot name. I was like, ah, and ramped it up times a million. It was just 55555. Oh, so it works now? Cool. I was giving everyone a second to Discord. Um, bro. Seth. Yeah, it is late because I went to a free baseball game. It was so much fun, and I got 2 bats. So I'm really happy. 2 bats, lots of pictures. And then not a hot dog, but I got something else. I don't remember. It was fun. I'm also drinking this energy drink. That's why I'm like, maybe we'll do tarot later. It's not like the prime time, tarot time right now. I dedicated this day, the last day of September, to explaining what the fuck happened to me 3 years ago when I dipped off the face of the planet. And I'm not really sure why, other than I thought it would be a good precursor to October, which is the month of Halloween. So like spooky season, when the veil starts to thin, is like from the start of Libra season, because that's like the autumn equinox also. So once the plants start dying, death becomes more apparent. You can blame Persephone if you need to. Spooky season, right? So like when it starts to become decay time, starts that day, September 21st, 22nd, and ends pretty much Black Friday after we honor LOL. I can't burn sage, I don't have windows down here, so burn it for me. But when you burn sage, make sure you open your shit. That's like the whole point. And it's already appropriating for most people, such as myself. So try to use it correctly, right? And I never found my sage. It's somewhere. It was gifted to me, so I have yet to burn it. I feel like I should be with the person that gave it to me to burn it first. Anyway, what the fuck were we just talking about? Yeah, so Halloween is October, and like the difference is like death is very apparent, but it is like some people believe Devil's Night is like the night that you can talk or see demons, and then like Halloween is like dead people. You know, like I guess that's American Horror Story lore, where like Devil's Night I don't think is a thing outside of, I would say the Midwest, but I don't think it's a thing outside of Michigan for some reason. So like growing up, we all knew about Devil's Night and like did Devil's Night, you know, smash pumpkins and shit. But I guess they don't do that anywhere else. But we live on cursed haunted lands here, so like that makes sense. Yeah. So the whole month. LOL. I've always said that I was like a drug, and it makes sense because I'm a Taurus. So MGK sucks, but he same vibe as me, Salvador Dali, any of us. Also, how do people think Tauruses are boring when, like, fucking William Shakespeare was a Taurus and was making up words? He pretty much invented drag. Like, how do y'all think we're boring? How did we get that stereotype? I'll never understand it. It is like drugs. No, I'm kidding. But also, we had so much unfinished business because I didn't go into the new moon ritual I did at all because the day after, none of my group was here. Okay, I love you too. You can always watch it tomorrow, but I don't even know if it's worth to rewatch. I'm a little intense today. I appreciate you coming by, Sludge. I should follow you back. There we go. Cool. Okay. I'm also going to tell you how I got this witch finger. That's part of the story. And the power of necromancy. Even though it's definitely Jesus. That's why I came to this realization recently where I'm like, yo, Jesus and John Lennon pretty much the same person. Like, if you want to talk reincarnation And that sounds like a stretch, but honestly, it isn't. Um, Aw, you guys are so sweet. I literally was like, I almost caved and streamed both Tuesday and Wednesday because I was like in the mood to talk to y'all. And I was like, no, you promised yourself you'd take 2 days off. And then I fucking didn't stream Thursday when I said I would. So I was like, you know what? I should have just went for it Wednesday. But I was trying to like catch up on sleep and then ended up sleeping even less than I normally do. Fucking knows. Um, there's a few key points I feel like. Not before we're in Libra season. What do you mean? We're like halfway through. Not halfway, but it's been Libra season for like a week. And John Lennon's a Libra. That's why this is all coming up because his birthday is October 8th. But I'm most likely busy that day and won't be able to celebrate his birthday like I did last year, where we just shit. I don't even remember who else showed up. I feel like it was just John Lennon. I did that on purpose, sort of. I always have major John Lennon vibes. If I would have worn my round glasses, it would have been even better. We would have been fucking sending it. But honestly, his round glasses was when he did the Bang era. And every time I cut my bangs too short, I'm like, God damn it. It's whatever. They weren't bangs on him, I guess. It was like the whole bowl cut in the 80s. I don't know. No, my hair today is giving John Lennon. It just always looks different, you know? So that's the thing. Chakras activating because I literally got operated on by chakra doctors, but we will get there because that was like 2 weeks in. This story that I'm referring to, the reason I'm telling you is because I kind of just fucking hated John Lennon so much. And I feel like people would just assume, like, oh, of course you would choose John Lennon to be your fucking blah, blah, blah. And it's like, absolutely the fuck not. If I chose anyone who's like dead, oh, I hated him. I was like, he's a sexist piece of shit. He was totally lazy. He had all this fame and fortune, and all he did was lay in a fucking bed and take pictures. Like, fuck this dude. And he beat his wife, and he was a fucking dickwad, and he got shot in the head. No shit. I'm sure. I'm fucking sure, you know? Hated him. Hated the Beatles for it, where I was just like, I hate his voice. I mean, that was the first ping. I'm so weird about people's voices um, when it comes to like music. Anyone, I mean, when you're talking, it's like whatever. You can sound however you do. But when it comes to singing, because I love singing so much and I just work so hard to be good, John Lemonade, I love that. John Lennonade, I think is what you meant. I have a plant I named Lemoncello, and then I put round sunglasses on it and called it Lennoncello. And then my partner was like, Lennoncello? I was like, oh. Yeah, I fucking hated the guy. Couldn't stand his voice. Thought he was just total fucking hack. I was like, are the Beatles the best in the world, or were they just given the most resources at the time because they're four white guys? Like, literally, what is the point? What is so impressive? And then, like, I remember watching a documentary about how people in the USSR attribute the Beatles to the wall coming down because they honestly, genuinely do believe that Paul McCartney snuck in at a time music was like illegal, and immigration or like travel was blocked off, like back in the 80s, and he performed a secret concert, and that's what back in the USSR was about. And there are people who claim that they witnessed it, and that's why, and they feel like the Beatles revolutionized them enough to take down the regime of the Soviet Union at the time, and that's why the wall came down. There is like an entire group of people in Russia who like hardcore were like, I was there. Not about that event in particular, but like there is a whole thing about how the Beatles, yeah, and even seeing all this. Oh, I'm about to roll up too. Seeing all of this, I still was just like, nah, fam, I am not into this shit. The music is mediocre at best, and Paul is clearly the better Beatle. Like, that's just all there was to it. I hated John Lennon specifically, so I just never liked the Beatles. And ironically enough, some of my absolutely closest, best, and most, like, absolute adored friends, hilariously enough, even though we have nothing in common with each other, or they have nothing in common with each other, we all fucking equally don't care about the Beatles. Like, just so happens that like my closest best friend, my longest standing partner, and my cousin, who is also like my sister, best friend, love of my life, or whatever, all just like never got into it, just never listened to it. And when I was in high school, I went to a fucking suburban white high school, so like they all listened to it. Because we all hung out and do drugs, and I was like, I'm into the Grateful Dead and Jane's Addiction and uh, I don't know, Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush, like art rock and prog, basically. So I just didn't get it. And I just was anti anything pop culture, I feel, at the time, or anything, anti anything mainstream. Because I didn't like Lady Gaga either, but that's because these fucking cheerleaders were listening to her, and I didn't even, I know, we're real live. um, I didn't fucking fuck with anything they did either. And I was like, why is she trying so hard to be controversial? The meat dress was just like too much, and Alejandro was kind of racist if you listen to it. But I'm a way bigger fan of both the Beatles and Lady Gaga because I have no problem saying that I was wrong or changed my mind. You know? No issue with that. Like, what? Why would I care? I think it's great. That's why sometimes I challenge people to prove me wrong in a sense, where it's like, yeah, go for it. Change my mind. I like want you to, you know? I don't want to think poorly of you or some shit. But yeah, so I did hate the Beatles, and I feel like I don't want people to think I was like some fucking dick sucking Beatles fan, like hardcore my whole life, because some people are. A lot of people I have known are. My family never really gave a shit. I don't know. None of my friends. Well, like my friends in high school did, but I was still like, nah. Same thing. Flaming Lips. First time I heard them, several fucking first times I heard them, I was like, meh, don't get it, don't care. And then I saw them, and it was like, okay, crazy. That's great. So I have no problem changing my mind over and over again. I don't know why people think I'm stubborn because honestly, I'm quite flexible. I just have boundaries. Get over it. Like, sorry you can't take advantage of me. It's not me being stubborn. Me being stubborn would be in like, I hate the Beatles and then secretly listening to the Beatles because I didn't want to back down on what I had stated 15 years ago, right? That's stubborn. Is like never admitting you're wrong. I can admit I'm wrong, but I'm not going to fold on my morals. I'm not going to fold on my beliefs. I'm not going to fold on my boundaries, right? That's a different scenario. Okay? And I can accept a whole lot of bullshit before I fucking. So, I'm just saying. Starting, that's the point. First thing, hated the Beatles my whole life, literally. Also, if it hasn't been totally obvious, I went to Catholic school for 11 years. 11 years. And that's basically like doing 11 years at Harry Potter school. What's it called? Hogwarts. That's like 11 years at Hogwarts, okay? I don't care what anybody says. I don't love that. I don't care what the fuck people tell you about different sects of Christianity. I know quite a bit about others. There are Christians who don't drink, and Catholics are literally in church like, let's drink Jesus's blood. Just kidding, it's wine. Like, how is that better? And then they like let the kids do it. At age 7, they get indoctrinated into drinking his blood and eating his body, aka bread and wine, in the middle snack time in the middle of mass. Like, what? You're fucking kidding me. So like, I basically went to Hogwarts since I was 3 years old. Pray every day, multiple times a day. Like, that's not a spell. Like, that's not casting blessings over yourself, right? When I was in my 3 years of preschool and kindergarten, I went to chapel once a month. I don't really remember going to church outside of that, but then I went to Catholic school from first to eighth grade, so I went to mass every fucking Friday. And from like not probably first grade, they do not let first graders altar serve. Probably from like fourth to seventh grade, I was an altar server. In the altar server schedule, it was like a rotating thing, and you would just get picked in the fucking paper. Like the weekly, it'd be like your name listed for the altar boy or girl. And I'd be like, fuck, man. And they would not, I mean, they would be like Saturday night or like either time Sunday. You know, you had no choice. It was like a fucking raffle you didn't want to win. And so I'd have to fucking go on the weekends sometimes or all the time. And holidays, obviously. And then the older I got, the more I just was like not showing up for church because then they just pull somebody out of the crowd. Like that's happened to me before at church on the weekend. They're like, yo, our altar boy didn't show up. You ready? You want to go get your robe on? Like, fuck. Talk about stage fright. I've had that shit literally my whole life. You think sitting up there in the church when you know you're a damn fucking heathen? Even though I was innocent back then, I wasn't doing heathen shit, but I knew. Okay? I fucking knew. I had my questions, just like Lucifer did, right? I was like, doesn't sound like he was such a bad guy. And it's like, what? Nothing. That shit was nerve-wracking as fuck. Yeah, I've always had stage fright. That was like not a pleasant experience for me at all. But it was very ritualistic, and I loved ringing the bells. That was like my favorite part. We lit incense, we lit candles, we drank blood, we rang bells. I mean, that is literally the basics of witchcraft. So once again, oh, and we made offerings? Yeah, okay. Let's take a quick commercial break and let that sink in, right? Whew. I'm back. Okay, so my best friend, as mentioned, she's like 4. Not actually 4, but you think of her as 4. Because she's not even 3 yet, but she's like, imagine a 4-year-old, okay? She had this phase where, she's still in diapers. This is a few months ago, I guess. And she's like, I don't know, she's so funny. I don't know why I'm saying this other than I said I'm back. I'd be like, yo, did you shit yourself? In baby terms. And she'd be like, no, poops go bye-bye. Like, okay, whatever that means. But then I'd be like, yo, did you in your diaper? And she'd go, poops come back. Okay, Chucky, or whatever the fuck. No, she's so funny. She's literally such a light in my life. Um, Always very random, but very adorable. But I do pick up so many things from her, like, I'm back is not supposed to be Jack Nicholson, who is also a Taurus, but it's actually Screaming Mommy, my bestie, featured on my album. But the sound is not great. So I guess I like derailed myself long enough to like calm it down and roll a joint before we get too deep. So I'm giving you some light background. Um, and there's probably, I don't know, I've been thinking about everything that happened, and it's like impossible to give an actual, like, accurate timeline. And I also will more or less really never know what happened. But I think I left a lot of people in the dark and a lot of people hanging after that experience or during that experience, and never gave anyone an outright explanation or, I don't know, even talked about it. Like, I've talked to therapists, but I only told them so much because it's like, I know what you're thinking, and I ain't gonna let you think it, okay? I'm gonna be honest about what happened, but I'm not gonna tell you everything about what happened, right? And I get cleared every time, and I don't think I'm like manipulating them, but they're like, you seem pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's because it's PMDD, you stupid bitches. Fuck. They're like, you're doing so well for being bipolar. Yep, because I'm not bipolar, you fucking genius. Anyways, yeah, so definitely like gone to therapy about all this. So don't be super concerned. I waited 3 years to talk about it so that and did EMDR so that I wouldn't get super emotional or re-trigger myself when doing it. Though this is going to be challenging because I am a week, not even a week. I'm like a few days out from the old mixtape dropping, and it's a time where getting triggered can really trigger some horrible behavior in me. So if I trigger myself, we're going to have to cut air, basically. And that's okay. So I'm just sprinkling this weed, literally like Salt Baying the fucking weed into my papers right now. So where were we? Other than hating John Lennon and being in Catholic school, okay? And then, of course, watching Across the Universe, it seemed like it was going to be such a cool movie, and I was like, maybe I will like the Beatles, and it was just so bad. I thought it was bad in 6th grade. What does that tell you? And then I watched it again, like, last summer, and, like, it was so bad. It's like, how did you get the rights to the Beatles songs and then fuck it up this badly? It's actually funny. But yeah. not the point. Not the point. It's just like, hated him. So, I'm trying to think of any other relevant details that might end up being confusing. And also, gotta admit, just because we've been talking about it so much this year and talking about these unions and things, it's very much entwined to my twin flame journey, I do believe, if I have a twin flame at all. In fact, I just was recounting with someone today how before I, back when I first, like, saw this person that I think is my twin flame, but hadn't, like, actually met them yet, I was like, yo, I don't think this person's available, but I do feel like we're twins. Like, I just look at them and I'm like, wow, that's my fucking twin. Like, so weird. What? Is he dead? Is Terrence McKenna dead? I'm gonna put him on my list. I need people for my list, dude. I'm taking requests for my 31 Days of Halloween necromancy readings, and I only have like 10 people on the list, and I think I came up with like most of them. My last edition was, oh, and Richard Pryor popped into my head today at the baseball game, so he's going on the list. Richard Pryor and Terrence McKenna. Oh yeah, yeah. He's dead, right? I'm like pretty sure he is, huh? So yeah, if y'all have any other requests, drop them. And if you think of it later, you can always leave it in the Discord. But yeah, I'll put Terrence McKenna on the list for you. That's why I'm hoping to do the John Lennon reading tonight, because like after midnight it'll be October 1st. But if not, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll probably do 2 tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, because like I'm probably not gonna stream every day in October, so some nights I'll have to do more than one. But I want to be trying to do 1 per day theoretically. So if I skip a day, it's like 2 here, 2 there, and not do like 5 and then not do any for 5 days, because that'd be a lot. Yeah, so Terrence McKenna's on the list. Anyways, so this is very much tied to what I do believe is my twin flame journey, right? And speaking of Terrence McKenna, it is karmic cycles unfolding for sure. And I think it's also like, it's like, where are you at with your karma? Were you doing good shit, or were you doing bad shit? And people who were doing bad shit are like serving that up, and people who are doing good shit are getting it back. Like, comes back tenfold. And honestly, part of the reason I'm telling this story is because I had to admit to myself even, gosh, it is an interesting story. Part of me this week was like, why are you telling this? This is almost kind of embarrassing. You're literally telling people about a trip that you took, like, but not took, got taken. I don't know. I probably was drugged. That's like, my therapist is like, homie, that does not sound like a mental disorder. That sounds like you were drugged. And I'm like, good point. Very good point. So I guess let's get into it, right? I haven't quite rolled the joint. And then if you've seen 9 Perfect Strangers, I'd love to discuss that after, because of my real life experience. So I'm gonna finish this joint. Like I said, I'm trying to ease in, give a little background. Can't think of much else to give. Other than, and also very, very important that, like, I do thoroughly believe that I have always had the gift of necromancy, but growing up I thought of it as prayer. Right? Like, I thought everyone could, like, actually talk to God, and, like, you hear things in the silence. I guess everybody has a voice or a sign. But when God talks back, and every time I am in these states of psychosis, it's like I am reminded that I did spend a lot of time alone as a child. And it's not because I had to. There's always people around, but I did often isolate myself. And I personally think, or even remember, that it was because I was very deep in conversation even back then. I wasn't overthinking. I was just always in conversation with myself or with another being. And I would assume looking back that it was Jesus. Like, they literally hung his naked, dead body in every classroom. The fuck? Like, it's just the crucifixion, the cross with his body on it. Like, a cross is the cross, but the crucifixion has his like dead body on it, and they're like, "Yep, we have to stand up and pray like 6 times a day." Like, what the fuck? Okay, maybe it was just morning, lunch, and night at the end of the day. Maybe it was just morning and lunch and in religion class, like, and his fucking dead body's there. So, amen. Yeah, yeah. Yes, that's why Revolution was going to be the title of my stream today, and then Revelations popped in my head, and then the numbers 261 popped in my head, so I figured it was the verse, but that is not an actual Bible verse. There's no verse 261 or 61 2. But okay, I have to finish this joint before we get any further. Literally holding like an unrolled joint right now, because it's like sometimes I don't need to smoke, so I try not to like overdo it. I'm feeling very clear-headed and open-minded about this right now. And if I'm honestly, I'm not doing tarot and I'm not channeling, I feel like I don't need to smoke weed. I'll get probably more off track, but I'm rolling the joint for if I do want or need to light up. Because like I said, this was very a traumatic experience. And that trigger warning is weak as fuck. I wanted it to be scary enough for people to be like, yeah, I don't want to know about that without putting like suicide warnings on there. Yeah, so joints rolled, but I made a mess. Like nobody's business. So, I'm pretty sure the necromancy started in Catholic school. For sure, like, really not even a doubt in my mind. Makes perfect sense. Love Jesus, my fucking dude since day one. You know, he also had the power of necromancy. Once again, I don't know, my people would think this is not a Catholic trait about me, and that this isn't a divine gift from the God they worship, when literally he did the same thing. So I'm not calling myself Jesus. I'm definitely more of an antichrist than a Christ, right? But it is like it's a Catholic thing to me. Yeah, it's not a thing. It's not a thing. You found it? Oh, you rearranged the numbers. I'm a moron. Okay, I'm glad you found that. I love that. I actually know that one. That's so weird. You really came in the clutch. I didn't even think to rearrange the numbers. Goddamn, you're good. But I did find Psalm 261 or 61 2 popped up when I searched for it. So I'm going to read that because I wrote it down because I really liked it actually and was like, okay, maybe I was meant to read the Psalm. Let us build the city of God. May our tears be turned into dancing. For the Lord, the light in our love, has turned the night into day. You know? No. They're like, no, he's singing right now. Okay. I know all the bangers, but City of God I think is my fucking favorite, dude. Everybody's like, oh, On Eagle's Wings is easily my favorite. And I'm like, yeah, I was fucking straight once too, you boring ass bitches. Basic ass hoes. Like, are you talking about churchgoers right now? Yeah, you mean them witches in my coven? Hell yeah. You think it's an accident that they got the covenant? It's a coven thing. Okay. They literally have like a sacred box where they put shit in it at the end of the day and lock it up before anyone can leave. It's extremely ritualistic. Crazy. And at the time I didn't notice, thought that was just religion, but then you get older and you learn things about witchcraft, necromancy, and all the stuff I'm into. And then I think back and I'm like, that sounds like exactly what I've been doing my whole life. What? You're kidding me. Jesus gave me the power? That's crazy. And everybody thinks what I do is from satanic and shit. Like, nah, Jesus was the necromancer. The devil didn't bring anybody back to life. Jesus did. Like, you know? Like, that's him. So, I love him. Love him. That's my dude. Sorry, like I said, I couldn't get too serious about the conversation while I was rolling the joint, or it was never going to get done. So I'm just talking about how much I love Jesus instead. Okay. I'm trying to think of any other relevant things to mention before I get like real cracked into the story. And I guess I would say that I am trying my hardest to be slightly anonymous about this, not because I'm protecting anybody or, but I just think it's if because I am so unsure about what happened. And like, I put myself in any predicaments I end up in, right? And I definitely like was not the evolved and conscious person I am now. Like I tried to be, but I was very much unhealed and still hurting, even though I've always been decent at dealing, recuperating, cooperating, even, after a moment. So I've always been okay at it, but it wasn't until after this experience that I got actually good at it, and it wasn't until these last, I don't know, a few weeks that it started to sink in how how good I am in a sense. Things like dealing with my emotions or like staying calm and finding my peace, even though like I'm not pretending like I never pop off. I did last night. It just wasn't as bad as it normally is, which is good, and that means progress. Of course, I am far from perfect, but I am perfect at being myself. Oh no, are we gonna have a bunch of disconnected videos? I feel like every time I have to reload my player, it usually means that there's going to be another break in the video, and I hate that. But shout out to the dedicated people who like watch the 1.5 minute long clips of me not really saying anything. So sweet. There's like 4 people who are like, yeah, I'll watch this 1 minute and 33 second video that got cut off from the major video. Cool. Yeah, sometimes I think if I'm understanding what you're saying, it is absolutely very difficult or possible to be like so sure about something that you start to just feel like I might be insane. Like I might be clinging to it too hard. Like I'm so sure despite having like zero validation, right? What the fuck? So, like I rarely mentioned, this does tie into my twin flame journey, oddly enough. But the reason that I wanted to share it was because I wanted to talk about my meeting John Lennon, right? Like that touch experience. And then it dawned on me that it was very much sort of tied in to it. No, he's like my dad, bro. Not my dad. He like invented me. Not really. It was like a mutual like what if we did this, and this? Okay, I'm gonna go out there and try it. You stay back here and chill, and we'll catch up when I die, basically. When I die, I'm meeting him in a garden or whatever. No, fuck no. He was a fucking no way. Abusive piece of shit. No, fuck no. But he is pissed. He was pissed. That's why he was like, bro, I'm gonna come down and fucking nail this into your head that this is what it's supposed to be, and you're both fucking it up. Because, that was kind of the thing. I think that twin flame journeys may be typically romance, but beyond that, it's about a purpose. I was talking about this with a friend who is in, connection with her twin flame, has always known it, ticks all the boxes of like what indicates a twin flame relationship. They both feel it mutually. And everything that happened between them is on the same timeline as me and my suspected twin flame, where it's pretty wild. It's hard to deny. And it's something that I've tried to give up and move away from so many times because like at first I was like very curious about this person, and then we kind of like met or became closer in each other's radiuses, and I was like, yeah, no, don't think so. Changed my mind, don't, and it just would act out in a way, like to be unappealing in a sense. And I don't think it worked. Like I think they still were very much about me. Um, or that's what people told me, and I was like, that seems weird because I feel like I'm being mocked. I feel like I'm being ridiculed. I feel like I'm being hated on. But that had a lot to do with the PMDD stuff. So it was like literally like we'd have to all like a bunch of us would get together, meet up in different cities and stuff, and so that would be the only time I'd see him. And every time like I'd want to go and I'd be planning it, I'd be so excited. I would bring gifts, like I'd go all the fuck out, and then I'd show up and be like, why the fuck am I here? What the fuck is this shit? Who the fuck are these people? And they didn't care. They didn't judge me for that. They didn't fucking, holy shit, someone is fucking pregnant and no one knows who it is. That is so wild that you would say that. Because I feel that way, like, I feel like my karmic got someone pregnant, oddly enough. And it comes up in, like, readings, and one of my friends had a dream. I've had dreams about certain people, and it's like, who is it? No one fucking knows. But maybe we're all paranoid about that, right? Like, we're all paranoid that our partner is with child or something, or like our potential wannabe whoever. Let's roll this ad real quick before we get too into it. That's so funny. It's a vibe lately. It is a vibe lately. So, like, if you were to get pregnant now, what would you have? Is that why there's just like some sign? Would you be like a Leo? Virgo? Something like that. All right, let's take a quick break. I got a big, big, big heartbeat, yeah. I think you are the sweetest thing. I wear a coat of feelings and they're all out. I've been having good days. Think we are the right age to start out on peculiar ways. Do 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 with a friendly heart. It make me sick, sick, sick to kiss you. That I think that I might vomit, but I'll do it Monday when I don't have to work late. I like it when I bump you, an accident's a truth gate. I'm humbled in your pretty lens. Do 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 do, I hug you, don't you know? I got a big, big, big heartbeat, yeah. I think you are the sweetest thing. I wear a coat of feelings and they're all out. I've been having good days. You know, but that's the thing. Maybe, like I said, people are paranoid. What if she thinks you got someone pregnant? You know what I mean? And that's like, it's paranoia because it's tied to sex. Like, pregnancy is tied to sex. It's tying you to another person. It's locking you down for life, you know, where it's like, oh man, there's no less availability than like someone who's with child or with someone else or about to have a child. Like, you can't even interfere on that, right? So that's wild. It's funny you bring it up, but I think it's like a fear or like part of the retrograde or like, yeah, worst case scenario. And everybody's going to that where it's like, oh fuck, what if that's what it is? Because I had the same thought about my karmic. Where I was like, is that why like they refuse to speak to me? Is because they low key someone's pregnant? You know what I mean? Where it's like, are you serious? But where did I get that from? Nowhere. Like, where did that come from? But why is it popping up for everybody? Like, it's really weird, right? Anyways, I think it's part of the harvest though, like giving birth. Like think about this. Like, Libra season's the ninth month, right? Or like, sorry, September is the ninth month, and a trimester. God, trimester. A pregnancy term is 9 months. So I feel like think New Year's resolution. This is a time, or whatever you decided you wanted to do this year, it's like, this is it, delivery time. And I think that's why pregnancy's been on everyone's mind, because I've seriously been asking people left and right, are you fucking pregnant? Are you pregnant? Am I pregnant? And it's like, well, I doubt it, but, you know, it's crazy. It's just, it's a lot, but I think it has more to do with the fact that it's the ninth month in the year, and like we're all waiting to deliver our love, you know, our harvest, and blah 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 blah. So I think it's not necessarily a physical pregnancy, and that's why it's on everyone's mind, you know. And also, if she's pregnant, she's not your twin flame, bro. I've been telling you that for a long time. And even if she is your twin flame, you're not getting together anytime soon. So strap in and hold on tight. She's probably a karmic dude. Especially if you are extremely attracted to her. Because that's the thing. Karmics sure are pretty. They sure are pretty. They're supposed to be, right? They're supposed to be very undeniably attractive to you the moment you see each other. And that's kind of like falling in love at first sight. more or less, right? So, I think it's time to smoke the joint. I think I gotta get into a spiritual place. This story's intense, and people are gonna watch this and be like, "What story?" But, brethren, it's very intense. That's why I'm like trying to pick and choose what I'm thinking or what I'm trying to tell you. You know, so here it is. Other key points besides Catholic school and my hatred towards specifically John Lennon and my dislike of the Beatles. As some things I've discussed before. Right, but I could be. But I'm saying with twin flames, like you're only 24, you're not getting together anytime soon. It's probably a karma. It's okay. Cycles still live out and a lot of healing to do before you can actually come into union with your twin flame. And maybe you like see each other and you just like don't get together or become official and it waits more time. But the twin flame journey is not that sweet because it takes so much time. You know what I mean? You usually know each other for at least 10 years before it even, you know? And that's what's just wild is like, yeah, I met my twin flame 10 years ago. All right, so I've mentioned this on stream before, and I'm just mentioning it again because nobody's going to go find all my streams. Although they are available, all my past streams are available on Patreon. And, you can watch them, but I just want another key point. I guess I will explain how I think I met my twin flame, in a sense. We'll do cards later. I have to do this ritual, and I know, like, it's just me and you, buddy. Got one viewer hanging on by a thread because I'm boring people and I'm not getting to the spiritual stuff. I'm bullshitting because I'm nervous, you know? I'm trying to be excited, but I can't really figure out what the fuck the excitement would be by telling the most vulnerable secret story of my life. Like, what does sharing your NDE really gain, you know? Probably freedom from it. Closer bond with John Lennon. I don't fucking know. The story of the necromancy being gifted to me. Just kidding, because like I said, I think I've been doing it my whole life. I've always talked. Jesus gave me the power of necromancy, and John Lennon came down and solidified it for me, right? Or they're like the same guy, reincarnated. There's probably always been one, but they kind of all look alike, right? Not really. Jesus wasn't white. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna tear off this. Maybe I'm not. Okay. So, key point: the meditations I used to do at night. And every time I describe it, anybody I've ever described it to is like, yo, you were probably definitely traveling dimensions. What the fuck? Like, yeah. I would just envision patterns to help myself fall asleep. And then I'd have extremely lucid dreams and liquid dreams, right? Because I've explained the difference. Like, a liquid dream is like you're consciously watching it and you're consciously speaking for yourself, but you're kind of like still not necessarily in total control of the dream or your body necessarily. Like, you're moving through it consciously. That's what I would consider a liquid dream. Whereas a full lucid dream, you are in control. The earliest lucid dream I remember was sometime when I was in Catholic school, because I had the dream that I was in Catholic school. I'd wake up so tired every morning because I'm like, fuck, I'm not done. And then I'd fall asleep and dream I was getting ready for school and then be like running late. And I was late every day, even though I was walking distance from my fucking school. Divine timing. You get where you need to be at every time. And I would always be late, so I had to pray every fucking morning. They'd be like, you're late. Get in here. You're on morning prayers over the PA, and you're getting a pink slip. Go to class tardy. And if I made it like just before, when the bell rang, but prayers didn't start yet, they'd be like, fine, you don't get a tardy. We're just like, tell them you're in the office doing prayer. But if I was like super late, like prayer already started, they'd be like, get in here, say the prayers, you're getting a tardy. I was like, cool. I'm lucky I didn't get kicked out of that school, you know what I mean? Just for being late, literally, like, almost every day. And they're like, we have your address. We know you live down the street. How the fuck is this happening? And it's like, I don't know. I was busy astral projecting last night. So, I think that's how I met my twin flame, oddly enough, because he's I keep saying he was trying to be more vague, significantly older than me, right? So at the time when I was like a child going to Catholic school and having astral projection dreams, I'm just out there experiencing things, right? In other dimensions. And yeah, oh, definitely it's been off the chains. I hope this whole story and conversation will open up conversations around that, because like I said, it wasn't until the past few weeks when y'all like actually appreciated me that I realized how good I am at this stuff, you know? I'm very much, a lot of the people who have always been in my life are either religious and unaware of the ritualistic nature of their religion, or they're not religious at all, or they're just like not into this kind of thing. Like they just, I don't know. And I think it's been good for me because it challenges me to get out more and expand my reach, or you know, travel even and see and meet people who do want to it and appreciate it. And that's part of the path, right? If everybody around me accepted it, I wouldn't go anywhere, I wouldn't have grown, right? So yeah, it's fucking taboo. Of course, what I do is taboo. Look at all. It's all taboo. Okay, duh. I am taboo, but it's roots. The fuck? Your parents are like cool. Yeah, I guess like you're really young, so your parents are probably from a certain era, right? That's sweet. I don't really know what that means. Is one of them not alive anymore, or is one just like, are they divorced? You can't just throw that out there and like not explain the dynamic at all. I'm like, what are you talking about? I put the joint out because I feel like I was in the perfect thing, and then I hit it one more time and was like, now I'm stoned. Um, should have stopped one puff ago, and I was like, okay, last one. Stupid. I don't even know what that is. Like, that's so cute. Um, that's really cute. What the fuck were we just talking about? I'm trying to stay on track. This is gonna be the longest story ever told. Okay. Kind of knew that though. It's so much. It's like, well, it took some time, 'cause it's a lot. God, it's a bunch. It's such a big old black golden bus. That's my church voice coming out. Actually, it's probably my PMDD voice. I really like singing, but have stage fright, so I like to practice singing in front of people by walking around um, during the day, anywhere, just sing. One, to build stamina because I'm not actually performing, and two, practice. Three, get comfortable. I'm just walking by fucking anyone. Not everyone hears me, but anyone can hear me, right? So I'm like trying to alleviate the fucking panic, stage fright. Like I said, even as an altar boy, I was like, oh my God, is my face red right now? Oh, kind of cool. Why doesn't he go with her? Aww, kind of so cute. That's so cute. I really hope it works out, but maybe your mom deserves better, and you gotta admit that, not become your father. Just kidding. Like, I don't even know you, bro. I say some pretty intense stuff on here, right? That's why I'm about to share my shit so that people can say intense shit back to me if they need to. I've been debating on how many details of the story I'm telling. My plan was to fucking recount everything I remembered, but I was like, man, that would be so confusing and require so much elaboration. But I feel like I'm gonna hit the major points, right? Major points. And I'm, like I said, trying to be like more anonymous and less revealing about anyone involved in this. But if you know me, like, if you actually know me, then you would easily know what I was doing during these times, right? So I may leave out places, people, things like that, and details of whatever. I wish I had my fucking notebook that I had during this time, because I'll read it and I'm like, what the fuck does this say? What does this say? Like, wild, wild. Okay. So I'll probably hold back on some things because it was confusing. It's still stuff I'm processing, you know. Like I said, I did the therapy, I did the EMDR. I've talked about it here and there. But it did change my life in a lot of positive ways. But was it worth it? At the end of the day, I would say no. I don't know. But we will see. I guess if things are still coming, you know, from this, you know, but I don't know. I got very badly injured at the end of the day. So, like, don't drug people. Period. Point blank, period. You should always tell someone how much you are giving them and what you are giving them before you give it to them. Like, it's fine to share drugs, but you, even if someone says sure I'll do it, if you put drugs in their mouth, just because I said yes I'll do drugs, excuse me, I said I will do them. I didn't say you could do them for me. If there's drugs hidden in something and you see somebody drink it, you're not going to tell them. If someone says yeah I'll take a hit of something and they give you a dozen, you're drugging people. Like, let's get that point blank straight, right? If someone says they're down to smoke weed and it's laced with something, and that's where we're at today, because I can't imagine what else it would have been other than a completely out of control PCP trip. I've done a lot of research, but you know, I just thought I was smoking fucking weed. So that's bizarre, right? And also, with PCP, sorry, I had to make the story interesting before I lost everyone, but it's too late. I already lost everyone. With PCP, it doesn't typically last more than a day, and you might feel the effects for like a week. But what I'm about to tell you took place over the course of a month, which is why I am very, 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 very serious about people eating and sleeping and drinking enough water, because I was most likely drugged and then starved myself, dehydrated myself, and sleep deprived myself. And went fucking insane and tripped even harder than I did when I was actually hallucinating on drugs that I never consented to taking, right? So, kind of scary, and I almost died. That's quite the story. What does this have to do with John Lennon? Let me tell you, because that's so bizarre, isn't it? Okay. For fuck's sake. What the fuck did happen? Precursors, I think we've covered. This Catholic, I'm a witch, I guess. Indoctrinated into it. I feel like whispering. Why do I feel like whispering? I feel like because it's really, look at the ASMR crowd in here. They'll be like, oh my god, her voice is so nice. And then it's like, and then I stabbed, and they're like, wait, what? Yeah. No, yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be real good. And also crazy. And I get that it's gonna seem crazy. And I understand that I understand why people make the assumptions they do, and I understand why I get the labels that I get. And honestly, I have had to learn a long time ago that I was unable to care about what people think, because they have always had many opinions on me. And it's because I stay very quiet when I'm not being loud. And that's interesting. So, I guess because I'm talking about really intense stuff, I'm going to use my therapist voice and my ASMR voice, and we're going to put some people to sleep. I'm just kidding. What the fuck? You talk about necromancy and then you say that shit? Like, no. Let's roll in it. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I gotta look something up. So if I don't BRB in the next 10 seconds after the ad, it's because I'm figuring out who this person is. Okay? I don't want y'all looking at me while I'm on the browser. Give me 2 secs, y'all. Can I tell you that you are the purple in me? Can I call you just to hear you? Would you care? Oh, fuck yeah. Somebody just suggested Douglas fucking Adams for the list. Hell yeah, we're putting him on the list. Fuck yeah, that's such a premium little choice. I can't believe I'm on fucking Instagram while I'm streaming, but sometimes it's life. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And this is a primo choice. Douglas Adams is getting on the list. Amazing, amazing, amazing. We love it. Yeah, that's great. Great. Gotta write it down. Douglas Adams. October's gonna be fun. Let me tell you what happened in October of 2019. Okay, so precursor, we got that. Blah blah blah. I used to fucking induce some crazy dreams as a child using the power of meditation and prayer. Okay, so I pray before bed every night. That's what we did. Prayed all day, every day. Very ritualistic. Very much speaking blessings, right? And every night I'd pray and fucking pray and pray to God that there would be peace in the world and no one would be starving and blah 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 blah, because they kind of like brainwash you into believing that. Not brainwash you into believing it, but like, you know, we'd be constantly raising money and church missions. You know how it is. Although Catholics aren't real missionaries, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they're not necessarily lazy, but they're not. I mean, my brother is Christ, right? So, my photographic memory has me constantly flipping through channels and shit, looking through my eyes again, reflecting on things. And of course, retrograde makes it heavier. And I think that's why you mentioned, I don't know what you said, you said something about the dreams you've been having or the astral projections and stuff. I think it's this time of year. And the fact that we're actually going to be coming out of that. I think the Mercury being in retrograde, it goes direct October 2nd. So by October 5th, you'll start to like see things like a little more clearly. And yeah. So as a kid, I was learning to lucid dream, and I was at my school and I was in my uniform, and I was like, what the fuck, man? I literally gotta wake up and go to that school and wear this fucking uniform. Like, I'm not trying to do this. I was probably like 2nd or 3rd grade, I don't know. And the dream voice, I don't know, the dream simulator was like, or maybe I just thought it, I can't recall exactly. It was kind of just like, well, then don't be here. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna get out of here. And then I'd go to run and I'd be running on my knees. I'm like always running on my knees in my dreams. And it's very hard and I always feel very tired. So I wasn't very good at running. And I was like, maybe I can do something else. And just chose to fly. With flying through the sky, clouds, you know. I don't even know if I really knew what lucid dreaming was at the time. But I guess I must have heard of it if I tried to do it, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Like, cool, maybe in class, but this is a pretty cool class. So I think I feel like I was 8. I don't know why the number 8 stands out to me. I don't know if that would have been 3rd grade or what. That's maybe a point in development where your brain becomes less spongy, more independent, prepubescent, right? So like, I don't know, what about that age where you just like, that's when you start to be like, more human. It's, I think, when I became a bit existential or more curious about why I was the person I was living the life that I lived. Like, that's where my head was at. and I believed in aliens. This really gross thing that I just, for no reason, believed as a child, that if I like ate my fingernails and like scabs or like any part of me, never was a booger eater. That for some reason is disgusting, even though I just admitted to like, what did you say? Eat what? Never mind, just move on. Because I thought I was building an alien creature made out of my skin and bone, right? That like when I died, I'd be cut open and it would like come out. So I'm like, man, was I watching X Files? Because it would have been the same time, but no one in my family was watching. Like none of them liked that kind of stuff. Like no X Files. But I guess it was just sign of the times, right? Was I falling asleep to Roswell because it was on the WB-20? Where did I get that notion from? Yeah, but true. But that's like weird that I thought I was building an alien out of my flesh and bones. Bone being my extended bones of nails, but still, like, it's gross. And then my mom, thank God, was like, you know how much bacteria lives under your fingernails and how disgusting it is to like bite your nails. And I've not bitten my nails since, unless it's like, fuck, I have to rip this off right now. Fuck, I have to use my teeth. That's it. I am not a nail biter. Thank fuck. So, yeah, me too. Me too. And that's why I felt comfortable telling my story for the first time. I debated on telling it on Instagram Live when I was doing the readings like last year, this time. And I don't think I was ready, and I don't think I had the right crowd where it would have just been all shock value and not this kind of healing energy and discussion and welcoming, open-minded people, right? It is dead tonight, though. I feel like on the weekends my stream is always kind of lit later, but sometimes it's a total flop because people are busy. Like people go out. People don't just. Some people, I don't. um, I'm here doing it, but you know, sometimes maybe it's just better this way. I wonder if anyone will even watch it if they realize I'm not doing tarot. I wonder if anybody's even interested in this shit. But it is interesting, I'll tell you that much. So, in these dreams, and I liked movies like Practical Magic and shit. I was into the Harry Potter books for a brief moment. I read like 3 or 4 of them. Didn't finish the 5th one, you know. Didn't read the first one. Started with the second one. Really liked it. Read the 3rd and 4th. Halfway through the 5th, I was like, these books are too big and I'm bored. Like, I don't give a fuck about this shit no more. By that time, I was like getting into Rocky Horror Picture Show and Perks of Being a Wallflower. I was very over Harry Potter. To me, that was elementary school. But I also didn't realize I went to Hogwarts. So, what are you gonna do? In my more adult life, teen years, late teens, early 20s, I did have a few ghost stories. I talked about them on a makeup stream a couple weeks ago. I don't think that's uploaded to Patreon yet, but I'm just saying I've had many experiences, paranormal activity, etc. And once again, the whole concept of Catholicism involves a lot of necromancy and rituals to help you perform necromancy. Okay, the honoring everything. So I 100% believe that I had the gift of necromancy before this experience. But this experience pushed me to become the person I needed to be and the person who has gifts like this for the reason that they have these gifts. And if it weren't for this hallucinatory experience and John Lennon personally coming down from wherever the fuck he is to say it to me as a giant floating purple head, I just could not have been here with you today. I probably would have been dead. Well, no. It was the reason I almost died. So that's why I'm like 50-50. There has been literally zero payout for this experience. I hated it. I'm still fucking healing. Yeah, exactly. And it's taken a long time, and it took the NDE to get me going because I've been humbled. It's not that I've been too humble, but it's because I was humbled. That's big teaching in Christ. I don't know. I can only really speak on Catholicism. That's the thing. Stations of the Cross. Someone brought that up. Was it Dink? No. Potato brought up something about Christianity. I don't even remember. But Stations of the Cross, that shit is brutal. They're like, we are going to relive the tragic story of the way they murdered Jesus step by step every Friday for 2 months straight. That is insane. With pictures, with words, with we would act it out like year after year, every Easter. Stations of the motherfucking Cross, bro. That shit? What the fuck? You think I haven't been practicing necromancy literally my whole life? Literally my whole life. Every week, every day, every season, I am through and through, have always had this gift. I had to have the life that I did in order to see how I could operate amongst society, because I'm more of a shut-in. And that was a big part of Catholicism too, was visiting the shut-ins, and I never really understood what that meant. And I never actually went into their homes. We would do packages, food drops, drawings, cards, and they would deliver them to the shut-ins. And it would just be people who like either like at home care or like couldn't leave, or like, you know, disabilities, elderly, things like that. But why'd they call them shut-ins? It makes me wonder if they were like some kind of weird fucking vampire people. Who knows what the Catholics were doing? They pretended to drink blood. What the fuck? Like, what? Come on, y'all. You can't, of course you can't trust these people. God, and then also they have like this whole like pedophile case against them. Like, what are y'all doing? And then people think it's a stretch to think that they're one, to think that these fucking conspiracy theories are insane. Are you even paying attention to what goes on in your fucking lives? How do you think it's that much of a stretch to think that there are people who do sacrifices and like, yeah, of course the people with money would be the ones doing it. Who else can afford children who are trafficked other than rich folk? Stop exempting your faves because you think better of it. No. You come on. You can't trust anyone until you know. Trust no one. And then you know, verify, right? You gotta not assume the worst, but also like, don't be naive. You can't be naive. Some people really are sick, and some people really are just doing a job and are regular, total humans. But to think that there's like nothing suspicious going on in things like Hollywood or politics or these mainstream big performances, like, what do you think goes on behind the scenes? Why do you, like, inflation's out of control right now. What is happening? It is a lot, okay? So I'm telling you about this experience so that we can catch up, get to know each other, and you can truly understand the depth in which I have fucking studied my dark arts. And I don't mean with books. I'm not a book buyer. Stop suggesting books. I don't mean to be a bitch. I don't read. I got a very serious head injury. I read as a kid when I needed places to go, but my imagination is quite active and I go places without stories, and I'm a writer, no offense. I just don't, I try not to consume because I hate to copy. I don't mind influence, you know. My writing can be influenced by music, but I don't want my writing to be influenced by someone else's writing. Like, I did all the reading that I was going to do, and then I decided where my writing was at. You know what I'm saying? I just really don't read anymore. I will read passages here and there. My partner will have phases where we'll read out loud with each other because it's really healthy. But then, you know, we get busy because we're not big on it. Or, like, want to be. It feels good to do it, but it's like, I got too much shit to do in school sometimes. And like I said, writing, I got to read my own stuff. So, yeah. And I don't, it's not that I would ever stop learning. You're always constantly learning. But like I said, my knowledge has never really come from books. It comes from mostly experience and word of mouth, even. Like, if somebody is coming and telling me something or telling me about something, you know, or handing me like smaller references. Not that articles and the internet are reliable. I feel like I'm channeling a little bit, which is kind of weird. Am I channeling my own self? I don't know. It's harder to read books for me. I think this is like, okay, I gotta tell this story, dude. I think we covered enough points. Look, I'm losing everybody. And no, everybody keeps tuning in. They're like, yeah, I'm not digging this. It's just me and you, Pico. Do not feel obligated to say it. It seems very weird and pressured, right? Or it's like you're the only person listening to this story, and it's a pretty intense story. And I guess it's not that I was expecting an audience, because I do rarely have an audience on here. And at the same time, I'd be way more nervous and probably avoid it if there were more people. But I'm noticing how long it's taken me to not really even get anywhere. This is all like the precursor backstory in an hour and 15 minutes, bro. Come on. What is the big deal? And it's like, this this is a big deal. It was a lot. And I'm not trying to fucking throw it all on anybody at once. It's like, you have to understand, sure, my upbringing was somewhat violent in the sense that I just was Catholic. They were constantly showing us violent images of what Jesus suffered through. And so there is humility is a huge factor. The meek shall inherit the earth, right? But anyone can get into heaven as long as they're sorry. So like you're saying the meek shall inherit the earth, yet you're not even promising us a safe place when we die. Like, because everybody's invited or whatever. As long as they're sorry, forgive them, right? This is very deep, right? That's what I'm saying. And honestly, like, parents aren't really that Catholic. I think they just wanted me to get like a good education because I am like super smart. No offense. It's like more individualized attention because we had smaller classes and it was like you didn't have to go from room to room. I don't know if you do that in elementary school, but you started in middle school and like I was kind of a weird, quiet kid, right? Both my siblings only went to Catholic school for like a fraction of the amount of time I did. But I, especially being a witch, I feel like I was meant to be there and learn necromancy to the depth that I did. So I think they were just like, well, raised Catholic or whatever and chose Catholic school for that reason. But I don't think they weren't super deeply religious or talk about religion that much at all. So it's like whatever. To my family. So I don't think it was that deep where I don't think anybody really thinks about it that deeply because they're so, like I said, raised Catholic and then raise you Catholic and it's like the norm. But when you go to other religions, like I don't know, maybe there's equal amount of violence. You know, but then you look at the Crusades and it's like, yes, Christians have always had like a streak of violence, but this is why, because you're passing along violent images and violent stories and stories of death and murder. Like that's kind of wild that this is what you're highlighting about Jesus' life is his death. That's almost like insulting, isn't it? And then the whole point is just to say he brought himself back to life and came back 3 days later. And then they don't really, that's like where the story ends, kind of. Like, when did he die again? I guess I don't know the Bible well enough. They kind of just end the story there. And, like, Jesus is alive again. And then the end of the world. Like, I don't know. It's weird, right? What? How do you know? That's kind of crazy. How do you know? He like just straight up asked. Is that why she wants to see you? Is that why the Balkans was happening? Maybe you're not going. Oh man, this is how it all happens, bro. What made you say that? Okay, I'm gonna try to stay focused. I literally don't remember what I'm saying. So you're so desensitized to it, you don't even realize what you're doing, right? Like practicing witchcraft when you think you're just a regular Christian who's like anti-witchcraft. Like in the fucking Salem witch trials, it was the Christians that were like, but now these Catholics are like, yeah, we're Christian. It's like, no, you're not. You're the witches. Like you're definitely the witches. Like what are you doing? Even patron saints and stuff like angels, all of it. Whereas I think Lutherans is almost, it's like the same idea as Catholicism, but they don't do the whole saint thing. And then there's like other versions of Christianity that are similar, but they don't drink. Like it's interesting how different they all are. But I feel like Catholics low key are just like a bunch of people who practice witchcraft who are like, oh, we're just like this new form of Christianity, and everyone was like, what do you do? Like, oh, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Jesus. Yeah. And they're like, okay. And then Catholics happened. Like, what? And they're like, cool. Got away with it. And now everybody's worried about the Satanists. And they're like, we just want to do good unto others. And it's like, bro, it's definitely the Catholics you got to worry about. And I'm one of them. I'm kidding. You don't have to worry about me because at least I'm honest about it, right? I just have the power of necromancy. So... the thing is, it always was in the form of prayer, right? And like I said, humility is a big thing where it's like, be humble, stay humbled. Jesus was humble, humble, humble. So I was very, like, forcibly humbled through religion. And so the older I got, the harder it became to, like, I've always been able to accept compliments, oh, thank you. I really, especially physical compliments, like, yeah, I'm fucking so beautiful, thank you. I fucking love this outfit. I thought I did great. But But when it came to my skills and talents, like writing, oh yeah, sure. I just had this mentality that anything I could do, anyone could do equally as well. Um, classes I got A's in, I was like, oh well, those are just the easy classes, and some people are like, yo, I really struggle with English. Like I really struggle with words and like writing and stuff. You're really good, and I'm like, I guess it never dawned on me that something I do is actually like above average because it's that humbled mentality that they bring you via Jesus Christ. And for what reason? Beyond me. Either way, okay, yeah, good for you. Good for you. How do you know that though? I'm gonna roll the ad so we stay on track, but I want to know what made you say that. Okay, so very humble, very hard for me not to accept physical compliments. I have fucking mirrors. I know how good I look. Like, that's pretty obvious. But it took a long time to recognize my skills and abilities. And honestly, reading that poetry book out loud and realizing that that was literally ages 16 to 21 that I wrote that. And it still holds up. Oh, okay. Yeah, chill out. I don't even know why you're thinking about that right now. We're talking about death, anyways. Um, it still holds up. And so it being appreciated by people, not in my readings, but in some of the readings I've listened to, yes, there's like suspicion of someone being pregnant. But like I said, ninth month, things are coming to fruition. It's not actual pregnancy. It's the fact that the universe is a womb and we are constantly in creation. And you can create something with another divine being. You can create something physically. You can create an idea and give birth to it. So I think it's like a proverbial pregnancy. Some people might actually be pregnant, but there is like, no. What? You're literally so toxic. You need the Fuckboy Academy more than fucking anybody, my dude. Where is the Doppy? This is 100% Pico. The fuck? Anyways. So, oh hey. I am barely even into this story, dude. The tarot cards are gonna be so late if I even have the energy. It's a pretty intense story, though, and that's why it's taken me a long time. And I'm trying to give some background information so that y'all kind of understand it when I get into it. Cool, I appreciate that. It's like how me and John Lennon became friends. And I realized he's pretty much my spirit dad, but not really my dad. It's like a family bond. It's like I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid. I don't want to get that into detail. It's just like, I don't know. What do I do? It's been sitting in I've been getting all these messages from all these randos, aka dead people. And lately I've been getting messages from living people. I'm like, get the fuck out of my head, bro. I know what you're doing. You think I don't know how to do that too? You think I don't know that you're fucking still looking at my art and reading my words every fucking day? Are you fucking stupid? Am I stupid? No. Sorry. You might be, but I'm not. Come on, bro. What are you doing? It's spying and scrying. Okay? Stop. These people had the audacity to not speak to me and be obsessed with me. Well, Jesus Christ, at least my obsessions are outward. Come on. But yeah, no, it's chill. No, it's chill. It's totally chill. Let me call from an unknown number just in case she does answer. The fuck you mean, bro? Come on. Why did that just come out? Did you just tune in? Isn't that interesting that I can do that? Fuck with me again. And you will find out even more, okay? Let's keep it going. Oh, scared him off. Anyway, cool. That was actually a true story. Somebody did call me from an unknown number today, and it was total silence on the other end. It was pretty funny because it's like scammers don't fucking call from unknown numbers. First of all, they call from throwaway numbers. Second, my phone will say scam likely if it's a scam caller. And third, they're not gonna say nothing. They're gonna try to scam you, bro. Come on. It's my number. I said it was. Same number since fucking 7th grade. I should not even say that out loud because a whole bunch of people be like, ah, da, da, da. Dude, somebody I've told this story before, but like misdialed me and I haven't talked to him since high school. It's like, why did you still have his contact? That's weird. Like, delete this. You only accidentally called me. Like, come on. Come on. Get out of here, okay? Unless you want to talk to me. And aren't you glad you still have it? Come on, bro. Chill out. Okay, so yeah, I think that this whole experience that we're discussing definitely amplified things. And now I try to understand that like I'm pretty put together, I'm pretty well adjusted. I'm not necessarily super integrated into society in a properly functional way on paper by any means. But I am okay. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty cool, right? Well-adjusted human, not well-adjusted person. Does that make sense? Person do people things. I'm not great at people things. I'm very weird. But look, I human. So it's not very person. It's fine. It's fine. So all that being said, this is kind of a twin flame journey at the end of the day. I hate to even bring it up because, like I said, if you know me, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I am only telling this story not to put anyone on blast and not to point any fingers, but to just like, okay, I mean, you could try me. I might be able to make it come true somehow. Um, it's kind of like the necromancy amplified in these last few years, but like it's part of the healing. And I had to question. I had to sit back and question if I was drugged. Then is this all drug induced? Am I perma tripping or something? It's like, no, first of all, you did this before you ever even did drugs. Second, you've come down and proven yourself once again level headed and far from hallucinating. Like, you're okay. I'm like, I got to check in with myself and keep it 100. I know. I know. I am so certain that I am meant to more create than even fall in love with my twin flame. There is something so particular to music, but I'll tell you about when I met the music entity. It's like a squid thing. It's creepy as fuck. But we hit it off in a way, and then I think they sewed me up. It was wild. I have no idea what the fuck happened. We're getting into it now. This is the thing. I know you'll love this story, but I don't think it's for everyone, and it does end very tragically. Like, I'm alive, but like it was not great. It's got a shitty ending. Um, yeah. The entity of music has shown me my destiny and shown me that it is everything that I have ever wanted. So when I was like 8, and I was obviously like astral projecting into multiple dimensions when I was sleeping, okay, and had a lot of control over my dreams. I can 100%, like now, it's starting to fade a little bit because I had to let it go. I let this connection go several times. I like never got, like I said, I would be very unappealing. I was very unattractive. It was very wishy-washy because of the PMDD that I didn't know about at the time, where I was like all into it and all for it, and then I'd show up and be like, nope, I fucking what the fuck? You're creepy. I don't want to be here. I hate all of you. And it was like, what? You thought you loved us. You having a bad day, bud? Let's cuddle. It's like, okay. And then it's like, trigger, I gotta go. I gotta separate myself, you know? And I didn't know that was just like the symptoms of my PMDD. I just thought that was the energy, right? But it was me. And it's not that I'm bad energy because they still saw the side of me that is pure love and 405 frequency. However, it was just like they also saw the dark side of me. They saw the Tyler Durden. They saw the Sarah Paulson. They've seen me cry and freak out and cuss people out and fucking hit myself. Yeah, no shit. Still do it. But at least I was having a good time doing it. And I know that sounds really fucking weird. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? But this, oh yeah, there was fucking footage, bro. No shit. You think that was you? Hell, it's usually the back of my head these days. Mm-hmm. Just every other month, once a month. Like, I just happen to be there every single time that happened. My twin flame and I did the math. I fucking calculated. I fucking looked back. There was one time that we met that I was free of this curse of PMDD, Tyler Durden, horrible, ratchet even personality. I don't know why ratchet popped in my head, but it did because it was an era for me. It was bad, you know. It's like the worst kind of white people era, you know, for me a few years ago when this is all unfolding. But it was like a meh kind of defense mechanism because I was like, no, 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 no. Because at a distance, the connection is like fire. Yeah, yeah, of course. Um, you know, and I think happy, doing their own thing, probably far from thinking about me, have not spoken I haven't seen them in 4 years and haven't spoken in three, and I'm telling the story as to why. And the last thing we didn't talk about and we never discussed. It's just weird. And like I said, this is all unfolding, and the reason this is happening is because I was reading this out loud to y'all and I got very, very fucking triggered. Um, I'm telling you how I'm certain. It's the same timeline as the other twin flames that are coming into union. Because I didn't realize. I thought a lot of things were coincidence, and in retrospect, I realized that they were intentionally doing a lot of it, such as taking one of my titles from a book I know they had, and then I gifted it to them with a painting that I did that was found hanging where they wrote the thing that they titled Almost Home, right? Kind of weird. And at the time I thought it was creepy, but it was like our mutual friend was like, "Isn't this your baby?" Like, I don't think it was supposed to be creepy. I don't think it was supposed to be unobvious, but I took it the wrong way and was like, oh, wait, that's so weird. Why is it weird? You gave it to them. What the fuck you mean it's weird? I thought that was very flattering and kind. Now I think that. But at the time I was like, I didn't know I had PMDD, so I took every single fucking mood I was in very seriously and was like, nope, this is how I feel. This is triggering me. I hate it. And it's like, well, you're also like bleeding. Your hormones are out of control. You're crying about nothing. I mean, I can't, I don't know what's wrong. I thought we were doing a thing, like you said. You wrote this whole composition notebook. You said you spent like 2 days on a train to come bring it. What do you mean no? Like, what is the rejection, right? I'm sorry. Kind of what? Yeah, totally get that. Um, I think we could look the same for sure. We don't share the same birthday. I don't know their chart. But like I said, before I knew what a fucking twin flame was, or before I met them, I literally like saw a picture and was like, we're like twin. Or like the more I learned about them or whatever, I was like, oh no no no, this is my twin. And other people would be like, yeah, I could see that. And our lives, like coincided before we knew of each other's existence. But it was because of this dream I had when I was like really young. That'd be cute. Um, it's feminine sun, masculine moon, at least, right? But like I said, I don't know the rest of their chart. Could be, but I actually know these twin flames that have very similar charts. They're like same sun, very similar, a lot of same placements. So like, it's different for everyone, and they were advised that charts don't matter. I don't think charts matter, but I think you'll see the coincidences or the things that align in the charts rather than see one specific thing. Yeah. Um, because you don't want to be the same. You want to be complementary. You want to come together. You want to be in union and balance each other. You don't have to be the same. So, and like I said, I'm pretty sure like they're happy with the way things turned out and will never be together. And like my dream is more of a creative thing, but I just accepted that that will probably never happen because I fucked it up several times over the years. And like, who would give me not a second chance, but like third, fourth, fifth, who knows? But I have always given people third, fourth, fifth chances. And sometimes it's worth it, and other times it's not, you know. I do believe in giving people chances, especially if you get time and space and have become different people. So, yeah, there was a lot of signs, but when I was a kid, it was almost like I was astral projecting and shit. And this dude was like probably tripping because of the age difference, right? Like he was at a point in his life where he was tripping balls, and I was at a point no kid is ever at in life where I'm like astral projecting in other dimensions in my sleep. And I feel like that's how it was like, hey, it's like it came to me in a dream. It was like, are you lost? Like, what are you doing out here? You know? And I don't know. And I just remember like talking, like praying, talking, whenever like this connection. Not this in particular, but like I said, my connection with Jesus and in the church and God and everything at the time and praying. And I remember when I met this person, oh my God. Yeah, I've probably said some dumbass fucking shit like that too. I get it. Um, or like showing off and fronting and blah 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 blah. So whatever. But sounds like a good time though, if it were true. So anyway, they told me their name in this dream. Like I said, I was probably around 8, and it was genuinely like I kind of like 3 years ago when I was going through the experience that this is all kind of building up to. I was a little more creeped out thinking back to it, but then like now I'm like, yo, genuinely was probably trying to look out and was not expecting the age gap, you know. Of course we connected if we're twin flames, right? That was the whole point. But like it was almost like again I was kind of like lost in space in a sense, where like astral projecting in my dreams and stuff. And at this point I don't even think it was necessarily a dream. I've always had this. Yeah, and I was obsessed with music. I would fall asleep with my headphones on, play the same song over and over again. Just like stuff like that. I needed to listen to like several songs before I went to sleep. Like I have always loved music, loved singing. Music has always been it. So I think music genuinely did bring us together in a sense. Like, I don't know. So I just remember I was like, I guess I was sleeping, but they told me their name and I woke myself up and was like, don't like that name. I know someone with that name, and no, 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 that can't be your name. And then fell back asleep, and they were like, fine, call me, I don't know, Jesse. Like, who knows? I don't know. I feel like as a kid, I liked that name because of Uncle Jesse or something. And it was like ambiguous, you know. I think I've always known I was bisexual. Why was I so obsessed with S Club 7? Come on, I'm bi. So I wasn't like, you know, I liked the name Jesse. It was ambiguous, right? And I'm a sucker for Jane names. So that was like the first time I like saw this person or whatever, like came to me in a dream when I was like a fucking child. And there was a series of dreams. There was a lot of nightmares. Like they were like by my side the whole time. Not the whole time, but like a lot of the time. And once again, this fool's probably like grown, meditating, tripping balls, and I'm just like a monk at age 7. I don't know. I started writing music in second grade. So like, I'm telling you, I like sought this out. Um, Oh yeah, I go to there's places that like exist that don't exist. For sure, there's certain neighborhoods, housing, buildings with houses in it. Oh yeah, like I remember a lot of my dreams. And yeah. So I don't know, were you going there as a child? That's what I'm saying, where it's like the older I get, the more reasonable it becomes. But it was really early in my life that I started doing this. Um, and the descent into madness in the underworld is like next level shit, and I've learned so much from it that I want to share it so that it wasn't totally fucking useless that I almost died and broke 16 bones at a time. On that note, commercial break. Strap in, It's going to be quite the evening. Sometimes I'm quiet and sometimes you're quiet. Hallelujah. Sometimes I'm talkative and sometimes you're not talkative. I know. Sometimes you hear me and others that can't hear me. Hallelujah. Sometimes I'm naked. In fact, I'm surprised you're naked. Don't you know? Can I tell you that you are the purple in me? Can I call you just to hear you? Would you care? When I saw you put your purple finger on me, there's a feeling in your bottle, found your bottle, found your heart. There's a feeling from your bottle, little part. Hi. Okay. My subs don't have to fucking watch ads, so I like to entertain them. And I'm posting something on Instagram again. Great choice. I was never that into him, so I hope this changes my mind. Jackson Pollock is going on the list. Once again, if there is a public figure of some sorts that is deceased that you would like me to talk to / channel this month, drop it in the chat or in the Discord. If you don't have a Discord, I might still have the link copied because I don't think I've copied anything since the Discord link. All right. Jackson Pollock is going on the list. Oh, I never read that passage. Psalm 61:2, King James Version of the Bible. I honestly don't know what the fuck that means. It just came up when I was searching Revelation 6:1-2. From the end of the Eretz, I'm guessing it's like an old world for Earth, but it sounds very alien, so I wrote Eretz. From the ends of the Eretz, I will cry unto thee. When? Is that really when? I think it is. I wrote like 3 extra letters. Okay. From the end of the Eretz, I will cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. Okay. Honestly, Jesus, you sound high. You sound high. When I get too overwhelmed, take me to that rock that I like when I'm too high. Take me somewhere higher. Come on, that sounds like fucking drugs. If I ever knew drugs. And I know drugs. Okay? I am drugs. I think I'm gonna put Salvador Lee on the list because I don't remember ever talking to him. And I think I'd really like to. Not even gonna lie. I've picked a lot of these because I haven't gotten a ton of feedback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we still got 15 open slots. I guess I'll wait and see how many. I posted it on Instagram today to take suggestions. I was letting Twitch pick first. But then I opened it up to Instagram and I've gotten a few. That's where Jackson Pollock and Douglas Adams came from. So, okay. I do not remember where we left off before commercial break, and I'm sure it didn't really matter that much. Okay, so we're talking about dreams, I guess. So I mean, specifically was kind of answering the question, like, what was your indication that this person is your twin flame? And I was saying, because I saw them in a dream a long time ago. They told me their name and I didn't like it, which is why I remember it, because I literally woke myself up from the dream and fell back asleep and kept dreaming. And I still can do that sometimes where I'll wake up and fall back asleep and be able to finish a dream. But lately I wake up and I lose the dream. And I hate that because I'm like, damn. And then usually if I can't finish it, I won't remember it. But I have to be really tired to actually instantly fall back asleep once I'm woken up. So, I haven't been remembering my dreams, but then I'll get flashes or visions of like bits and pieces of dreams that I've tried to recall lately. But I don't know, it's just not the time. And then more recently, I was getting more vivid dreams and remembering them more when I woke up. But sometimes, like lately, it's like almost been painful. It's like I'm better off not remembering some of the stuff. And the few things I do remember from my most recent dreams have been not necessarily sad, but definitely not, I mean, waking up kind of like, damn, that was a dream. Because, yeah, life is fine too. I don't mind life, but sometimes a good dream can really fool you, right? Kind of tell you things that you maybe didn't even want to know. Mm. I heard someone, so I was like, just being quiet for a second, and then we're getting a cat. Anyways, yeah. So beyond the dream thing, beyond seeing it as that was not the only evidence, but this was the earliest like meeting in a sense. And I just recall the age of 8 for some reason. I don't know how old I actually was, like when this was. But I think I was around the age of 8, so I just go with 8. Um, so kind of fast forwarding through it, there was just a lot of synchronicities in our lives separately. Like we were we had no idea who the other one was, right? I don't recall continuously having these dreams. But once we met or like became in each other's circle, I did start having the dreams again. But they were a lot more evolved, a lot different, easier to remember, easier to understand. It was like a classroom setting a lot of the time, which is funny because it was always, not always, but it was often a classroom setting, my dreams back then. Um, but I don't really recall them, being there in very many of the dreams, right? It's very strange. It's like for a while I was like, Freddy Krueger, what the fuck are you doing? Because I feel like I'm not the only one who has had this experience necessarily. But then it's like, well, to this extent, probably not. There's a reason that a bunch of people surround connections or bind you in the strings of life and the whole mission and purpose aspect of it. Sure. But there was a lot of coincidences happening simultaneously in our lives without ever even knowing each other. And like the age gap, it was different points in our lives too, where it was like uncanny shit looking back, right? Or like once I learned more about them, it was like, wow, that sure does sound like me. And that's how I was like, wow, this person's my twin. But I didn't know what the fuck a twin flame was. And they were completely unavailable to me, and I was completely unavailable to them. It's still kind of that way, right? So it was just, yeah, there was like a lot of coincidences. But I heard them say a certain word, like the first time I had seen them. And when they said it, I was just like, there was something that clicked in my brain that was like, I recognize that voice. I didn't. I had been listening to this person talk for like an hour at that point, and they said this one thing, this one word, and it was like a trigger word. And it was not a negative trigger, it was simply kind of a moment of, how do I know this person? I don't. And then I did a deep dive and learned everything I could possibly could about them in a sense. I was like, I don't know, 19, 18 actually, because it was the same year I went to Bonnaroo. Um, so it was weird, right? And this is after all the other weird coincidences, or the things that were happening simultaneously, okay, in the dreams and all that. But I didn't relate that to this situation at all at the time. Thought it was just something new, just something sparked in me, cool. But I realize now it was like a code word trigger. Like I needed to fucking hear them say that in order to fucking remember and wake up to this connection. However, I was still just like so young and underdeveloped and sheltered and unaware and traumatized. Like not super traumatized at that point. I only got more traumatized from there. Um, there was a lot that happened in the last 10 years that like brought us together and pulled us apart several times over. And like PMDD has been a fucking nightmare my whole life, the last 20 years, right? So the last 10 has not been a breeze for anybody who's known me. It's kind of like, yeah, no, I get why it didn't work out. And it wasn't meant to, because it's like you're supposed to heal. It's like inspiring each other without even realizing that's what it is. Like being each other's muse and like kind of always being in the same place at the same time and like never speaking. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but then asking people, well, there's also, I don't know, a weird thing, and never speaking to each other about it. It's like embarrassing, you know. And I get why. I was not an appealing person to be obsessed with at the time, and I don't know. I'm not. I'm recounting, right? Like I'm telling you a story. So like, I'm good. I'm saying the connection was extremely uncertain in the beginning. And that's why it's like, that's usually how a twin flame journey or really the connection part starts, is that it does trigger you to wake up and start healing in a sense. Like I had not reflected on myself at all at that point. Well, obviously some of this is quite reflective, but it was more like I'm a tortured soul and I don't know how to not torture people, right? LOL, getting fucked doesn't really matter. Sex is sex. It's not the same as love. And also, like, people are allowed to fall in love with more than one person. That's the other thing, is it seems like we have a lot of the same ideals. And I know probably too much because people tell me stuff about them. And it's like, I didn't really ask. Well, you're going into detail. And I think it's things that maybe I was supposed to or needed to know. I don't know. A lot of mixed reviews, honestly, for both of us. And that's another thing that we are similar. Stop. Don't be fucking rude unless that's what she wants and asks you to. Yeah, chill out. So there was a ton of signs. And then like there was some obvious synchronicities, there was some obvious interest, there was like an obvious connection where when we were in the same room I'd always know. When we were in the same place, we'd end up in the same spot. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. It's just, I've never felt anything like it. And I just figured that's who they were as a person, but that's also who I am as a person. I think that's why when we're near each other, it's so intense. And it's hard to come close to someone when it's like, you feel them when they're in your radius, bro. You know exactly when they get there. You know exactly when they're about to leave. You know exactly where they're at. And you show up in the same place without even meaning to. Like, come on. It's like this insane, like, I was like, oh, I always had the approach of like, nothing's coincidence, you know? But it got to the point where I'm like, this seems to be like nothing's an accident, right? Like this was all intended. Like it got so synchronized that I was like paranoid it was a setup. And I broke. This was 5 years ago. And I was supposed to see them. And I was like, that canceled on everyone and was like not going. And I got admitted to the fucking psych ward for a solid 8 days, which is like a pretty heavy stint for fucking even inpatient. Most people do a turnaround in like 3 days, but I was involuntary. They fucking tricked me into an involuntary because they are really trying to make me crazy on paper. It's annoying. I have PMDD. Like, leave it alone. Yeah, right. But also, if you're twin flames, I'm telling you, you won't get together anytime soon. You're very young and you clearly have a lot of lessons to learn, and you don't get with your twin flame until you learn all the lessons, break all the karmic cycles, and start clearing your own karma. So, even if she does, it's supposed to take time. That's why I think you're dealing with a karmic and you don't believe me. You reject the idea. You completely ignore the fact that I've told you multiple times, and then you continue to talk about it and make it very obvious what the connection is. And your negativity towards it, you're saying, "Oh, you're getting into uncertainty." I'm reflecting on the past at the time I was uncertain. You are still in uncertainty, which means you are far from ready, right? Oh my God, you're bringing up the Mars and Scorpio. Are you a bot? Have I been fooled by a bot? I'm kidding. I hope. Yeah, you're fine. Chill out. Okay? Like I said, this all happened 10 years ago, Bros F. This is over the course of 10 years. 5 years ago, I fucking was like, no more. I want nothing to do with this, nothing to do with them. And I fucking canceled. And then they were like, where is she? Where do you think I am, bro? Not fucking here. And probably not this, like, probably didn't think I was in the fucking psych ward. Never talked about it. I just kind of showed back up. Gave it a little time, not enough time. Showed up and was rude as shit. We would talk, we would text, blah, blah, blah. Then I'd show up and nothing, right? Last time we saw each other was 2018. I saw them maybe once in 2017, maybe twice. Who? What? What the fuck? I think about moving into the woods all the time. I know it's bad, but the person I am and the state of my finances. What? I don't know what the fuck. I'm glad you're on a vibe. I'm kind of on a vibe too. I'm glad this is going well, and I'm coming in really soft. And I'm hoping that people do kind of lose interest in the first 2 hours of me not saying much to not have to hear how the story ends. So maybe it's not over. I don't know. Maybe this is just like the fucking come down and then it's the startup. I do love rainstorms. I love Rain Rider ambiance or something like that on YouTube. And there's another one I really like. I don't fucking remember. Don't remember. Cool. So yeah. I was seeing him a lot when 10 years ago when we first met. Super into it and interested in the connection, even if I didn't understand it, and would move towards it and put a lot of effort and energy into it and feel like I got nothing out of it and blah blah blah. And then I think when I was about to get anything out of it, I fucking dipped out. So it's like, yeah, I could see how that would be a devastating blow to the person who was like trying and thought the other person was into it. And like, yeah, it's confusing, but I was just a bit young and unevolved at the time, and I don't think anyone was intending it to be necessarily romantic. It was just supposed to be healing. I think. I don't know. We never fucking spoke of it again because I just fucking noticed the title thing like 2 weeks ago on live while I was reading it to you guys, right? And it dawned on me like, oh my God, it was a little more obvious than I give it credit to being. So I tried to come back around after I was like, no more of this shit. And it wasn't, and I kept my distance. I was like, not trying to fucking be in anybody's face, whatever. And then I saw him a few more times and was like, I'm just going to stop socializing with these people. Like, I don't even want to run into them anymore. Like, I'm good on this. So, I'm sorry you want your tarot read so bad, but if you're this obsessed with the connection, it's not healthy. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you way more, but you don't fucking listen. No, I love you. So we might as well just do the fucking ad break. Because, like, I gotta remember where the fuck we were at and focus on what I'm saying next. I guess 2018. Like I said, anybody who knows me knows exactly what and who I'm talking about. But if you don't know me, I'm trying to be as vague as possible. So if it's a little confusing, it was supposed to be. Make me sick, sick, sick to kiss you. I think that I might vomit, but I'll do it Monday when I don't have to work late. We'd already sing this verse. I like it when I hug you. Accidents of truth gate. I'm humbled in your pretty lens. I'll hug you, don't you know? What's the next one? Macaca Carolina, talk too much about you. Their ears are getting tired of me singing all the night through. Let's just get together, me and you. And if there's nothing much to say, no silence is a boy. You got a big, big, big heartbeat, yeah. You are the sweetest thing. I wear a coat of feelings and roll out. I've been having good days. Think we are the right age to start our own peculiar ways. Do 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 do, wicked friendly homes. I'm lighting incense. I have zodiac incense, so I'm lighting my twin flame sign, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it'd be too fucking obvious. And I say it a lot anyway. It smells so good though. Sometimes I'm quiet and sometimes you're quiet, hallelujah. Sometimes I'm talkative and sometimes you're not talkative, I know. Well, I like to spread your perfume around the old apartment where we live together and agree on the same words. A trapeze is a birdcage, and even if it's empty, it definitely fits the room. Ooh, and we were two. Anyways, where were we? I love how much text is on the screen, especially because this is here. Kind of cool. I'm a big fan of text because I'm a writer. Can I tell you that you are the purple in